This video is to show you how to use the ChatGPT and how to solve problems related to ChatGPT. Now, to get started with ChatGPT, normally I will search from Google. I'll say ChatGPT, and that will give me a variety of options. And it's always good to make sure you click on the latest version if you don't know it. So this is the latest version. This might be the one they released in November, back in November. So I'll choose this option here. So your interface should look similar to what I have here displayed. So to get started, you click on Try ChatGPT. When you click on this, it's going to open in a new dialog. That will take a few minutes to load. And once that loads, you can start searching for the information you want. Now, I want to find information about environmental, social, and governance performance. I'll say ESG performance. And then click enter. And that would give some instruction to the AI, which is going to collect information from different database or sources online to give you a written statement about ESG. Now, having given this information, I could stop at any time if I think I have enough information, or I could allow the ChatGPT to continue to provide more details. If I have this amount of information and I'm not satisfied with the volume of information I have, I'll simply click on More or Expand, whichever. Click on More. So that will give instruction to the ChatGPT to give you more details about ESG performance. That will continue to run for some time, and you could stop at any time, as I said, if you think you have enough information. While that run through, which takes some time because this is a free version, the paid or premium versions is a lot speeder or faster, if you like, than this free version. And you are also limited in terms of the access to ChatGPT, because sometimes you may not have access to it if it's very busy, if you are using the free version. Now, if I want more information on this, I type more earlier, I could tell ChatGPT to expand on what is written, expand. So that'll give it instruction to provide more details. So that will take a few minutes. So while that is running through, there are other functions here. If all the instruction you give to ChatGPT would be recorded here, so that in the future you can have access to it. So while this is running through, if you click on the option I gave here earlier, which is Try ChatGPT, sometimes it might ask you to log in, which means you have to sign up for an account. In my case, I didn't have to do that because I already logged into my Google or Gmail, if you like, and I simply just sign in through my Gmail. There's an option there where you can click on log in through Gmail. So now it has expanded the statement about the ESG, which I instructed the system to give to me. Now, I may want some references based on this information that it's provided. I would instruct ChatGPT to provide references, or you may say socks. Provide references. So it's going to list out some few references. Now, this is where you need to pay attention. Some of these references might not be correct, or they are non-existent. So basically, you must double check that these references are correct and they exist. Most often in the past, we realize that there is no information related to these references, and this is where you need to actually go to the literature to find the relevant literature that supports the context that is provided here, and then cite those literature and provide the references as well. So I may say ChatGPT provide empirical references. provide empirical references. So once you type here, you just click on enter. So once I type in this space here, I click on enter. So you could see here is provided empirical literature, or in other words, which means academic literature. So I'm going to have those references here. Again, double check, because sometimes these references might not exist, or they are inaccurate. So after time, even though you have this technology right in front of you, there's still a lot of work you need to do to ensure that the information provided to you here is accurate, as well as the references or sources supporting the content of the information. At any point in time you feel that you've received sufficient information, you click on stop. Or if you think this reference is not accurate or it's not within your expectation, you can simply click on regenerate responses. When I click on that, it's going to write out the empirical literature references again. So again, we could say that we have more new references coming up here. Now, why that is being processed, which is of course a lot slower than the premium version. I just want to show you this other function here. You could change the appearance of your ChatGPT by clicking on the light mode, or you click on the dark mode. You also have this option here to subscribe to premium, or you simply continue to use the standard free version, like my case. So to log out of ChatGPT, which I signed it through my Gmail, I should have logged out from here. Now, if I process this information here, it's going to store here. If I come back in the future, I'm still going to get the same information here. It's going to be in my ChatGPT account. Now, if I don't want it to store here, what I would do, I'll create up. I'll click on this option here. I'll say create ChatGPT, so create conversation. So when you click on that, you have another option here which says create conversation. So I won't do that at this stage. I'll still go back to show you more here since this is completed processing. Now, the other thing I may say summarized this information that I received here earlier. So I'm going to copy this. Maybe I don't need this amount of information. I'm just going to copy this, bring it back to the ChatGPT. I say summarized. So that instruction is going to summarize that information, as you can see from here. So again, the content of the summarized information you get might be a lot more than what you expected in terms of the number of works. If you are concerned about the number of works, most of some people will just simply manually summarize text to smaller size of information. But the other way you could do that is to say briefly summarized the above. Briefly summarized the above. And that will reduce that amount of information you get there. So it takes a few minutes, but of course it's going to be a lot smaller than this information you have here. Okay, so he hasn't taken up this information as I expected. Let's say we try reduced number of works. Let's see what we got. So that takes a few minutes again. See how that goes. Yes, so this is what I want. It has reduced the number of words. Now, what about if I don't really want even this amount of information as well in the form of statement? I may say highlights or provide highlights. Provide highlights. So it's simply going to provide a list of highlights of this information that I have here in a bullet point. So again, it's taking into decision or recognition, all the other information we provided earlier on ESG. So it highlights that information. I may say, provide title for the above, provide 5 titles for the above, or just provide 5 titles, or suggest, in other words, let's say suggest 5 titles. So it's going to give you 5 titles for the information we have here. Then you could make a choice and choose one of those titles that you think is most appropriate, given the content of the information you have. So these are various information I want. Now, if I'm certified, or if I'm not certified, I'll click on regenerate. If I'm certified on with this information, then I copy this information to my Word documents or other system that I used. Now, if I want to get rid of this information from here, it will simply click on create information, and then you confirm, like I said earlier. So all of this information that I processed earlier are all gone. Now, sometimes you might have problem with the ChatGPT. And that problem could be that the ChatGPT is not available at the moment. The reason behind that is because the number of users that are currently using the ChatGPT is up to the maximum capacity. Given that you are using the free version, you won't have access to use the ChatGPT, but you might continue to try later and definitely have access to it when there are less people using the system. Another issue that you may also have sometimes is that you might try to search for something and it may not come up. So at the moment, it's working perfectly. Sometimes it might not work perfectly. Now let's check one of this information here. Let's say suggest Python code. So again, it's working at the moment, but in some cases it might not. So these are some Python code that I could use for my data analysis if I was doing some sort of data analytics using Python at the moment. So in this case, yes, it does. In some cases, it does not. Now I'm going to create this information. I hope I'm able to get a situation where it does it. Now let me say, I said on happy birthday. So again, it provides this information. A few months ago, you wouldn't be able to have this information because the ChatGPT was mainly focused on research content or literature content. But of course, because I use this word here, as I said, essay on happy birthday, so it may be able to provide some information regarding this. Now, let's say about birthday wishes. Say birthday wishes. So again, it's recognizing the prior instruction that I gave earlier. So if I stop this and simply clear up all the content and then refresh my page, and it's always good to do that, especially when you have trouble with ChatGPT. After time, you create the content and then you refresh. Now, I suggest 5 birthday wishes. Click enter. So yeah, of course, it now recognizes this other social contents. In the past, it does it. So there's a lot of improvement on ChatGPT since it was released in November 2022. So we've seen a lot of more capability coming up. Even solving accounting problem, yes, the ChatGPT does solve accounting problem. Now, I am going to produce another video which shows ways with ChatGPT solves an accounting problem and also provide tables to accounting problem. And I'm also hoping to provide some videos in the future on how to use ChatGPT to support your data analytics. Now, let's say if there's any situation where the ChatGPT does not really work perfectly, so I can provide you some insight on how to solve the problem. And I'm going to open a new one, ChatGPT. And again, you click on Try ChatGPT. And simply the conversation I have here earlier is there, as I said earlier, because I have no credit, neither have I logged out from the system. So I'm going to create that off. So now I'll click on one of these options here. Click on this option, go to Creative Ideas. So now it's working perfectly. So if I had any time that there's a difficulty in using the ChatGPT, I may be able to provide some videos on how I solve the problem. Otherwise, I'm happy if you leave a questions for me under this video, and I may be able to guide you through on how you could solve problems related to ChatGPT. So as I said earlier, my next video will be how you can use ChatGPT to solve accounting problem or provide some sort of solutions to mathematical problems, and also using the ChatGPT to identify code that could be used for your data analytics.